Yes, yes. Welcome to the ancient world of tabletop games. I am Agamemnon, from the historical documentary Time Bandits. This is a report from a fugitive. I once opened a blog post about my first book by declaring there wasn't one. With that in mind, I must now turn to the topic of my first video. There isn't one. I ran early tests as I put the studio together. The delay between recording this test video and launching my channel debut video was about 2 years. One of the problems in running a board gaming channel is assembling a library of games to get by on, and I paced out purchases for reasons of financial sanity. Even at the cruel pace of a board game purchase once every 2 weeks, on average, I felt I had nothing to go on after the first year. But delays occur for many reasons, and setting up shop was the main cause of delay. I had to build the factory before making videos. The test video didn't exist in my archives. I filmed it, tried a spot of basic YouTube editing, lost the blue color from the footage along the way, and marked the file private. The original file wasn't something I considered worth keeping. Well, here it is. I was only concerned with compatibility, ensuring the recording would load into the YouTube Death Star reactor. I've moved on since then. When it comes to gameplay videos, there'll be a need for multiple camera feeds on screen. The only thing I learned from this is that you can't shove all your cameras up your computer's arse. Your machine has difficulty telling one USB cable from another, and only recognizes a third camera if you slap that into the computer's front end, presumably to take the poor creature's temperature. After running the basic test, I turned to the matter of using silly voices and recording thoughts on equipment. Technically, this second video is the first video. After studying far too many board game atrocities online, I felt I should stay away from shaky cam as much as possible. This led to the vow that I'd not do game unboxing videos, just about the worst culprits in the shaky cam genre. To test this out, I deliberately shook the camera and quickly learned of the camera's sonic limitations. Too much shaking leads to more of that pesky autofocus nonsense, and the camera's own microphone picks up the grinding of jagged gears inside the machine. This video looks at lighting problems, movement difficulties, and the main thing I deal with, table management. Slapping a webcam on a GorillaPod and just using that as the main shooting method. It was clearly no go from the start. When this video showed me all of these harsh truths, I embarked on a quest to find an overhead camera solution that wouldn't half strangle me every time I moved a game piece. Over time, I had no choice but to hunt around for multiple fixes. Even here, my game library choices were heading in the direction of overhead camera work. Dungeon tile-laying games are meant to be seen from above in videos, even if the associated figures try to hog the camera by presenting their good sides. Game pieces come to life when you're not in the room. Toy Story started out as a Dungeons & Dragons documentary, and that is a board gaming fact. Let's jump into the videos with their original comments.
Welcome to a bloody camera test. And I sat here and I talked for about 2 minutes and it didn't bloody switch on, did it? So let's start again, shall we? Just going to have a morning coffee. That is a test of the microphone. So let's take a wander, shall we? Yes, I was saying this is a treasure chest, obviously. We have another treasure chest over there. Right. What we got here then, eh? Dungeon. Oh, I've bashed my camera in. Right, dungeon. I'm deliberately making it shaky. This is a second GorillaPod. I'm using a GorillaPod as a sort of wrist clamp here. Right, tiles. Now I've said that there's the shadow of the camera and we want to eliminate that. I also want to test the sound quality if I move the microphone very far away. We've got the backdrop still a bit creased, that doesn't matter, and reflecting light as well, which again, that can be fixed, I'm sure, after a few YouTube tutorials. Elven card holders, encounter, adventure treasure, monster treasure, stuff like that. This stand here is for Arkham Horror. We've got the actual, there you can see, what is that? It is my old lamp, it died, sadly. We go further up, I've already discovered that there are books at the top of this in the back there, and there are some other books that we have to go up a bit. There, it starts to adjust. Now we want to avoid stuff like that. This has just been a quick test of the facilities. I was going to say, we can focus in on things like old Thorgrim here, the cleric. That's quite easy to see. He probably talks like this, and I imagine a lot of characters are going to talk like this. Go over here, they have bone piles on these cards, that's when the monsters come on. And obviously the whole game revolves around white triangles on the map there, or black triangles. You slap a card down, big card tile, and if there's a black triangle on it, is an encounter. Back to the treasure chest. Some handy little gadgets there. Very handy to do in-game pictures, I guess, I suppose. Right. I'm coming up with 3 minutes. I'm going to stop there and see how big this file is. Lovely.
Welcome. I'm the Dungeon Master. There can be only one. You must prepare for the gathering of players. This is Dungeons and Dragons, the board game. Here is the fighter, but where is the wizard? He's over there. Wow. Isn't that just dandy?
Whoa, what we got here then, eh? Sounds to me like a bit of nonsense, another one of these test videos. We didn't have them back in my day, not the day of Jack the Ripper. Yeah, all kinds of crazy things going on back then. Down in old Whitechapel. This isn't Whitechapel, this is the Temple of Elemental Evil. You know it's evil because there's this evil presence. Like that. I can't help it. I don't know, I thought it was funny. Yeah. Props are very important in providing drama, obviously.
So many things to consider. Audrey Hepburn was a massive Gary Gygax fan. I'm so close to confirming that rumour. This test didn't have any commentary. Blink and you'll miss a piece of equipment that won't quite feature a card deck holder in acrylic material. This proved too reflective for the studio lights. Once I bought studio lights, I replaced those card holders with printed matte versions. After a pocket watch upgrade, I felt I was closer to starting the channel. Those pins next to the Ravenloft game are destined for use in the cork board next to the box. I gathered loads of daft little pieces of equipment for this channel. What's the strangest item so far? Judge for yourselves as the videos unfurl. Another problem with the room as a studio was access to the room. I started with the backdrop against the left-hand wall, flipped it all around to the right-hand wall, and eventually shifted everything to the back wall. That created a few sound-based problems, but I could leave the whole studio side of things set up permanently, and that would come in handy for recording gameplay spread over several nights. Moving to the setup now, we start with more or less the same books high up at the beginning of a wall of bookcases, hiving the office away from the studio. I did this for sound management reasons, and that forced me to buy extension USB cables, or to cut a hole in the bookcase to feed all the camera cables through. I chose to carve a specialized electrical conduit entryway using a Stanley knife and a gritty expression. Leftover sound management foam went into the gap behind the bookcases. There's no floor space for studio lights on tripods, but I invented floor space for studio lighting. The original black backdrop is still there against the same wall, but the other backdrop at the back wall was easier to unwrinkle. Put your backdrop outside on its frame and spray with water to ease away the wrinkles. Avoid this technique on a windy day, and always get an adult to help you. Sound management foam is limited in its sound reduction qualities. It isn't soundproofing, but that foam cushions the blow from an echo chamber like the one housing my overhead boom light. Use strips or Velcro patches to install your foam. No one will accuse you of huffle-puffing glue. That covers my then and now studio tour all about my first video. My next video leads off from this one into camera equipment.